Around the world, people are noticing that Oklahoma City is changing, and a lot of people apparently like what they see. 40,000 people have moved here since 2010. As you know, the media loves to rank cities. Just last week, USA Today came out with a list. The 14 places you have to visit in 2016. Now, they have places like Hawaii, San Diego, Philadelphia, Las Vegas, and us. We made the list, and it's a great compliment to our tourism industry. Other lists in the past year. New Geography magazine named us one of the top cities for veterans. We were #1 on their list. A website called Thumbtack named us as the #1 community for small businesses that wanted to grow. Entrepreneur magazine agrees. They put together a list of the top 25 cities worth moving to if you want to launch a business. We were #1 on their list. CBRE looked to see which cities were growing their technology markets. No city in the country has a faster growth rate than Oklahoma City. We're up 38%. The University of Michigan conducted a study on traffic commutes. In a lot of cities, commuters spend hours a week in their cars. Oklahoma City ranked #1 for the fastest commute in the United States. We have been noted for our low construction cost, our low cost of living, and our manufacturing industry is remaining strong, stronger than any city west of the Mississippi. Virtually any media organizations that looks at cities and starts to look at jobs puts us on the list. Millennials are encouraged to move here. Retirees are encouraged to move here. And if you don't want to move here, Travel and Leisure magazine insists that you should visit. They put us on their list as one of the friendliest travel destinations. In fact, we were #1 in the category of least rude and #1 in the category of least snobby. So the good news is, if the category is friendliness, we aren't likely to thumb our nose at other people, but we could if we wanted to. Two other rankings I want to mention. We all know about our nation's growing issues with inequality. You should know that according to Brookings, we have one of the lowest rates of inequality in the country. And this one may surprise you. We've long had a history and reputation of being an energy-based economy. But 20 years ago, we started making significant efforts to diversify. And you know the results. We have companies today like Boeing, GE, Dell, Hertz, American Fidelity, Love's, Hobby Lobby, Integris, Sonic, LSB, OU Medical. I could go on and on. Well, a national look at 350 different local economies had us ranked #11th as the most diversified in the United States. We're 11th out of 350. So if you're wondering why in 2016, when oil prices are down, there's still so much new construction taking place, that is part of the reason. The oil and gas industry is 3% of our employee base. Now, it's a much larger percentage of our economy because those are higher paying jobs. But the idea that we can't survive a reduction in energy prices is an outdated viewpoint. In preparing for this address, one of the most difficult aspects of it is trying to reflect on the importance and our appreciation of the nonprofit sector. We try to keep government small in Oklahoma. We generally do a good job. But that does mean that we rely more and more on nonprofits to help the community create the type of city where people want to live and the type of community that we expect. And obviously, I can't possibly name all of the nonprofits that do great work, but I do want to mention a few and some of our best success stories. The first one is the Homeless Alliance. They and their individual agencies are dealing with our most vulnerable citizens. the Alliance deals with so many different people in so many difficult situations that it is hard to categorize. But let me just put in a pitch for you to help them with their charitable dollars. They have a tough job. Their success in dealing with veterans who are homeless is something that you should be proud of. In 2014, the Homeless Alliance began a program called Journey Home OKC. We identified 373 veterans who fit the definition of chronically homeless. Of that 373, 262 now have a place to live. And we anticipate that by the end of this year, we may have a place that all 373 can call home. There is no one cure for homelessness in America, but we are moving in the right direction, and we're doing it with your help. We also work closely with the Humane Society. They were organized back in 2007, and since that time, they have helped us find homes for over 20,000 dogs and cats. With their efforts, we have spayed or neutered over 78,000 animals. We still got work to do in this area, but again, we're heading in the right direction. Our live release rate is something we can now be proud of. Food distribution is still a big issue in our city. How do we deal with hunger and obesity at the same time? How do we make sure that everyone in our community has access to fresh fruits and vegetables? Our local food bank is doing a wonderful job helping us to distribute food to those in need. In health, our local city-county health department has become a national model. And again, you can look at the statistics and understand that we have a long way to go. There are so many health issues that are the result of behavior. It's hard for a community to improve its health statistics quickly. It's tough to change behavior, but no community in the country is doing more than we're doing. From building health facilities in income-challenged neighborhoods, to increasing health education in the schools, to building sidewalks and bike trails and senior wellness centers, we are changing the culture of health in this community. We are also not going to become the community that we want to be without a commitment to the arts. And the amount of money that is going to the arts is also up. Allied Arts is celebrating its 45th anniversary this year. They help fund so many arts organizations in our community, but they broke their fundraising record again in 2015, over $3.4 million distributed to arts and educational organizations around the metro. They are now launching their 2016 campaign, and it should be important to all of us that they have another record year. The Oklahoma City Art Museum is preparing for an incredible exhibit of art from Matisse and Picasso. It's a collection of modernism that is coming to us straight from Paris. Many of the paintings and sculptures that you'll be able to see have never left Europe before. Oklahoma City will be the only stop in North America, and you'll be able to see it here this summer. We are also about to enter a golden age in live music. On Northwest 23rd, the remodeled Tower Theater will open this spring. Meanwhile, in Bricktown, the Criterion Theater is under construction. And on the western edge of downtown, the 21C Hotel, it too will have a live music component. In public safety, the crime rate is down another 10%. However, our homicide rate, which had dropped significantly in 2013 and dropped again in 2014, has followed the national trend and is back up in 2015, though it is still lower than it was 3 years ago. And when you look through the numbers, many of our homicides are the result of domestic violence. In the past 2 years, we have made significant changes in the way we're dealing with these situations. We're handling the calls differently. We're handling the investigations differently. we're learning more and more about the type of cases that are likely to escalate. And as part of that effort, this year, the YWCA opened up the Thelma Gaylord Emergency Shelter. It more than doubles our ability to get people out of a dangerous situation. Our new expanded efforts on domestic violence are drawing national attention as a best practice. This is not an issue that just affects a few people. It affects all of us, directly or indirectly. And so we all have to be part of the solution. We have to be less tolerant about violence in the home. We need to speak up and take action. The idea that domestic violence is going to improve if we do nothing is part of the reason we have such a problem to begin with. We have more resources to deal with mental illness, anger management, and family crisis prevention than ever before. We are moving forward with the concept of a family justice center, a comprehensive facility where victims of domestic violence can access much needed resources in a safe and non-threatening environment. Let's use these services. Let's stop the cycle of domestic violence. It is keeping us from being the community we want to be. As you know, our number one priority at City Hall is public safety. It's where most of your local tax dollars are spent. The last bond issue we passed included several capital projects for the police and fire departments. And as a result of that commitment, we opened up a new police station this past fall. It replaces a building that had served us well for over 60 years. And as you probably also know, we're always looking for new police officers. So if you know of a young person that might make a quality police officer, especially if they can add to the diversity of our force, please encourage them to apply. As for construction projects, they are seemingly everywhere you look. We're investing in new schools. We have plans to build new fire stations. We are repairing bridges, improving parks. We're addressing our drainage systems. We're replacing buses. We're updating libraries. When you put more money into streets and police and schools, you are building stronger neighborhoods, and neighborhoods are important to us. Of course, many of the construction projects you see around town are part of MAPS 3, and 2016 will be the biggest year yet for this initiative that began back in 2010. This spring, we will open up the River Sport Rapids, a man-made whitewater facility that you and your family can enjoy as a kayaking adventure. But before you get a chance to show it or to try it, the United States Olympic team will get a chance. We're going to hold the Olympic trials here this May. Also scheduled to open this summer is the Expo Center at the fairgrounds. It's a 290,000 square foot building that will become the centerpiece of our exhibit space at the fairgrounds. MAPS 3 is a significant part of all the improvements you see out there. New and better parking, better access, and this expo building should be a big economic development driver for decades to come. Also currently under construction is the first of our 4 senior wellness centers. This facility will open up at Northwest 112th and Rockwell. Like every community in the country, we're growing older as a population. This facility reflects our commitment to helping seniors live healthy, active lives. This past year, we opened up the first of our MAPS 3 trails. It connects the Oklahoma River Trail to Lake Overholser. This trail is getting lots of use. Let's take a look. How about a round of applause for the MAPS 3 trail? Slide right. And the next trail is already under construction. As you know, MAPS 3 includes sidewalks. How many in here have seen the sidewalk construction that's taking place in the city? Yeah. Well, thank you. The feedback is overwhelmingly positive. We're connecting neighborhoods with parks and schools and shopping centers. Every once in a while, though, I get into a conversation with someone who is not thrilled. It usually goes like this. They'll say, "Mayor, you're building a sidewalk in my neighborhood." And it's at this point I sense that they're not about to thank me. And if I don't say anything, they usually continue. They'll say, "We don't need sidewalks. Nobody walks in our neighborhood." Well, maybe nobody walks in your neighborhood because you don't have sidewalks. Most people like sidewalks, and the sidewalks we're constructing are being used. And just to prove it, yesterday afternoon, kind of on a whim, I tweeted, "Please send me your picture if you're out on one of our sidewalks right now." So let's see what we got. I think we got 6 people that sent in a picture of themselves on our sidewalks around the city. Well, we appreciate those that send in their pictures, and you'll be pleased to know there are more sidewalks on the way. The 3 highest profile MAPS 3 projects are about ready to come out of the ground. The park is already under construction just to the south of here. The streetcar and the convention center are not far behind. That's over $500 million in planning and construction that will be introduced to our economy over the next few years. In education, although success is a little inconsistent, we are sensing real improvement in some of our classrooms. For the past several years, we've seen poor results at the middle school level in the Oklahoma City public school system. We've seen attendance drop, we've seen test scores continue to slip, but things are changing. This year, the math scores in our middle schools rose 18 points. Yeah. And enrollment in the district as a whole is up to 46,000. The demographics in the district are continuing to change, and they have changed rapidly. 15 years ago, 19% of the district was Hispanic. Today, it's over half. And if you look into the suburbs, it's a similar story. The Putnam City School District is now 21% Hispanic. As you know, we've had a lot of construction projects over the years, 75 of them with MAPS for kids in the K through 12 education. Many of these projects are taking place not just in the inner city district, but all over the city. And during the construction of Emerson School, we discovered something quite extraordinary. You may have seen this. Last summer, we removed a wall and uncovered some blackboards that had been perfectly preserved for nearly 100 years. A few weeks ago, we tore down another wall and we found some more of these blackboards. And I wanted to show you, these are dated from December of 1917. So the teachers and the boys and the girls who were involved in this work are long gone. But I felt compelled to show it to you because it seems to me that they purposely left these blackboards for us to see at a later date. The penmanship, the colors, and I think it's a reminder that when you're doing school construction, it's going to have to stand the test of time. At the higher ed level, I want to take a moment to mention our ever-growing relationship with UCO. President Betts and his staff are continuing their commitment to Oklahoma City. You're probably aware of ACM, the School of Rock that they offer downtown. You may be less aware of their new boathouse and jazz lab on the river, or the new downtown MBA program. We are also working with them, and the Brookings Institute are improving our innovation district. And none of these are small endeavors. Elsewhere, Higher ed got a boost with the Oklahoma City University Law School moving downtown. The Stevenson Cancer Center on the OU Health Sciences Center is growing. They're going to be applying for NCI designation later this year. There is new construction on OSU's campus in Oklahoma City, as well as OCCC. Enrollment in our career techs is up. Nothing contributes more to adding to our investments in workforce than investments in education. And I cannot imagine there's another city in the country that has more education and research projects underway than us. 2016 figures to have its share of landmark events in these areas and others. Now, we still have a little work to do, but it appears that the American Indian Cultural Center is back on track. I hope that soon we can reach an agreement between the city and the state and the Chickasaw Nation and get construction going again out there. In the Innovation District, the new GE Oil and Gas Technology Center will open this year. And in sports, this is going to be a busy spring. In March, we'll be hosting the Big 12 Women's Basketball Tournament in this building. Across the street, in the building across the street. And then the first and second round of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament are going to be right here in Oklahoma City. So the road to the Final Four heads right down Reno Avenue. In April, we expect over 20,000 participants in the Oklahoma Memorial Marathon. In May, we expect the Thunder to be in the NBA playoffs again. And we will once again be hosting the Big 12 baseball tournament. In June, the Women's College World Series returns to Hall of Fame Stadium. So add in the Olympic trials for kayak down on the river, and it's going to be a busy season. Let's sum things up. I know there's a sense of caution in the air, but I want you to remind yourself of the many ways that Oklahoma City has prepared for times like this. This is a different city, a more diversified economy, a city that is built on bold ideas. Believe me, there's a lot of people out there around the country that want to be us. We're a city where income is rising, where unemployment is low, where housing prices are affordable, and traffic congestion is an occasional inconvenience instead of a daily nightmare. If there are young people in your life, read to them. If there are older people in your neighborhood, check in on them occasionally and see how they're doing. Support your local merchants and volunteer at your kid's school, at your church, or one of the many nonprofits that is doing incredible work to move this city forward. Thank you for doing all you're doing to make this such a great city. And thanks for coming today.